On November 23, 2025, Ohio government actions were marked by legislative developments, executive decisions, and ongoing responses to federal policy changes. The state continued to address critical issues such as property tax reform, food assistance, and regulatory changes, while also grappling with the effects of the federal government shutdown. Major government actions included the ongoing implementation of Governor Mike DeWine's executive order to support Ohio families during the federal shutdown. The executive order, signed earlier in the month, allocated up to $25 for food assistance programs to help mitigate the impact of suspended federal benefits. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, ODJFS, was actively administering these funds, with the state working to ensure that residents received necessary support as federal programs like SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, faced disruptions. By November 23, ODJFS had begun issuing partial November SNAP benefits under federal guidance, and new USDA guidance suggested that full November benefits would be issued to Ohioans by the following week. Legislative activities remained robust. The Ohio legislature sent 5 property tax reform measures to Governor DeWine's desk for final approval. These proposals were the result of negotiations between lawmakers and the governor's property tax working group, which was tasked with finding solutions to rising property taxes while balancing the need for local funding. The bills included provisions, such as adjusting the calculation of the 20 mil floor to include substitute and emergency levies, and allowing county budget commissions to reduce voted levies deemed unnecessary or excessive. Governor DeWine had previously expressed concerns about some legislative proposals, particularly those that could undermine voter approval of levies, and his working group recommended guardrails to protect taxpayer interests. The governor was expected to make decisions on these bills in the coming days. Another significant legislative development was the passage of House Bill 137, which would allow local taxing authorities to block library levy requests before they reach voters, effectively ending the requirement for public voting on such levies. This move was seen as a partisan initiative, with Republicans leading the charge. In contrast, bipartisan legislators introduced House Bill 566, the Break the Silence Act, which aimed to establish new protocols in Ohio healthcare facilities for identifying and assisting patients who may be victims of abuse or neglect. Both bills reflected the legislature's focus on public funding, health care, and state responses to federal challenges. Enforcement actions and agency activities were also notable. State bargaining contracts required agencies to make general announcements 14 days before funding interruptions could occur, ensuring transparency and preparedness for potential impacts from the federal shutdown. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services continued to monitor and respond to changes in federal funding, working closely with local agencies to ensure that critical programs remained operational. Public events and advocacy efforts were centered around supporting grantees and local communities affected by federal policy changes. The United Philanthropy Forum hosted a federal policy update program, sharing the latest federal actions affecting philanthropy and nonprofits, and providing advocacy tools for collective action. Attendees discussed strategies for supporting grantees and local communities as the federal government shutdown and other recent federal policy changes impacted critical programs in Ohio, including SNAP benefits, Head Start, and health care. In summary, Ohio government actions on November 23, 2025, were characterized by a mix of legislative progress, executive leadership, and agency responsiveness. Key issues included property tax reform, food assistance during the federal shutdown, and new health care protocols. The state's efforts were focused on addressing immediate challenges while also working to ensure long-term stability and support for Ohio residents.